morning, everybody. I am leaving a rest area here in northeast Indiana. I'm on I-69 headed north toward Jackson, Michigan. Just thought I would give you a little footage of the morning. You know, this is one of my favorite runs to make. This run up to Jackson, Michigan, because you know, if I leave North Little Rock, I can basically take 55 north up to 57 north, hit I-70. Once I get around Indianapolis, you hit 69 north. But what makes it a good run is that, you know, you really don't have to go through any big cities. Like, you know, last week, well, not last week, it was just Monday. I forget. I had to go down to Irving, Texas, which is basically Dallas. Got that load of roofing shingles that I took to Tulsa, I think it was. And man, you know, I love traveling through Oklahoma and Texas because it's wide open and good scenery, a lot of cattle land. But man, Dallas is just, the traffic around and in Dallas is just horrible. I don't know how people down there that live in that area and have to deal with that do it. It's just crazy. Every time I go down there, the traffic there is unbelievable. But anyway, this is one of my favorite runs because, you know, they do a good job, you know, up through the southern part of Missouri and into Illinois, Indiana, of having rest areas to stop at. In fact, the two rest areas I've stopped at this morning to do load checks, you know, they're nice, big, open, plenty of spots. You know, I'm talking like 100, 150 spots. You know, it's good, you know, and you learn to appreciate that when you're making these runs. The places that have frequent rest areas, you know, like every 45 to 65 miles. It really helps, especially if they're big, nice, roomy rest areas. I mean, there's some runs, for example, you know, if you're making a run to Birmingham, Alabama from North Little Rock, there's not a single rest area from, say, Forest City, Arkansas, right there on I-40 heading east, until you get to Birmingham. There's not a single rest area. You know, so you learn to appreciate the runs that have adequate stopping places. You know, because by law we have to, as flatbedders, we have to make frequent load checks. You know, Maverick has us do a load check when we begin a trip. Every, like, I think the first 50 miles, you're supposed to do your first load check, and then every 150 miles afterwards. Now, I think the DOT rules are not quite that often, but still, you know, as flatbedders, you have to stop and check your securements, your load, to make sure you're still safe and your load hasn't shifted, or your straps or chains haven't loosened up or something, you know. And it happens. I mean, it happens. I've gotten out before and found a strap that was not winched down tight, you know, or chains have gotten loosened up because the bundles of bars have shifted a little bit. So yeah, there's a reason for it. Anyway, I was getting listening to NPR. I'll finish with this, and then I won't make you just watch me drive and talk. But I have some people say that they like to have footage of me driving, so you know, I'm trying to mix in a little bit of that. But I was listening to NPR a few minutes ago, and you know, they were talking about this pipeline, this shutdown of the pipeline over in the southeastern part of the country, and I think they were talking about North Carolina specifically, and that the lady had come on and she had reported that 74% of the gas stations in North Carolina are currently out of gasoline because, you know, supply issues. Then she goes on to kind of it's really like she was saying that the problem is being caused by people who are trying to run out and get gas when they don't need it. You know, like they're just freaking out hysterically. They're going to get gas when they really don't need it. You know, they need to fill up their tank and they really don't need to. That just struck me as kind of absurd. You know, the problem is the pipeline is shut down, lady. That's why we don't have gas. Oh, it's just the reporting sometimes, you know, you have to wonder what these people are doing. Maybe they're in the wrong field. But anyway. Alright, so I'm still about an hour and 40 minutes from Jackson, Michigan. We'll see what's going on when I get there. I have already gotten unloaded in Jackson, Michigan. Trying to get out. Another Maverick requesting to exit. Alright, I've got the green light, so we'll have to stop on the scale here, run inside, get our signed paperwork from Cheryl, the shipping and receiving lady, and then I'll go out to the holding lot, put my timbers up, and wait for my next assignment. Hopefully it's a nice home load. But the driver, the Maverick driver just in front of me, he lives in Little Rock. He said they'd already sent him a pre-plan going to Delta, Ohio, and then delivering in Highland, Illinois, I think. So he's gonna have a tough time getting home even on Saturday. So I hope that don't happen to me. All right, give me a minute. Okay, guys. Where did I last leave you? Oh, man. Well, I got dispatched after that last delivery in Jackson, Michigan to Toledo, Ohio. And I'm actually at the port of Toledo at a place called Midwest Terminals of Toledo, picking up a load which is described as super sacks. I'll show that to you after I get loaded. I've hauled a couple of items like this before. Super sacks is just the term for these big giant sacks that'll fit on a pallet. Could be full of anything, but it goes to Sterling Steel in Sterling, Illinois, which I've been to before, but only to pick up things. They make slinkies, or coiled rod as it's known. We call them slinkies. So I've never delivered there, but this obviously is some of their raw materials they're going to use to make the slinkies. But I'm waiting on my loader right now. You know, it's almost noon, so it might be kind of a lunch break issue. But pretty big place. You can see over in the distance, maybe they got a bunch of like aluminum ingots piled up over there in the yard, and then piles of whatever this black stuff is. more aluminum ingots over there. Lots of aluminum ingots over there. So, and piles of whatever that stuff is. I bet you that's what I'm getting in the super sacks. But anyway, I'm just here waiting on my loader. Yeah, not much else to do. They had me pull up right next to the curb over here. Said the guy would load from either side. So just waiting on him. More later. Well, guys, I've been waiting here for over an hour, and the loader forklift guy just drove up and got my paperwork and said he's going to go to lunch. He'll be back in 30 minutes. These other guys had told me he would be here to start loading me about 10 minutes ago, which turned out to be incorrect. So this is the part I really hate, you know, just waiting around doing nothing. But what can you do? Just sitting here. I was looking at my clock though. I'm about 4 hours from our facility, our Maverick yard in Portage, Indiana. It's about halfway, a little over halfway to where I deliver this. So I'd like to try to get there tonight. I might be able to make it. You know, this should be a pretty quick load if the loader would ever get started on it. It's basically 16 pallets. And then I've got to strap it and tarp it. So it's going to be close whether or not I'll be able to make it or not. But anyway, just sitting here waiting.